Township Planning Board. Would you please read the statement of adequate notice?
In accordance with Chapter 231 PL 1975, the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required, specifying the time and location, with such notice as being sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Times of Trenton, posted on the Municipal Public Notice Meeting Bulletin Board, and filed with the Township Clerk.
Okay, thank you. Let's all stand for our flag salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody. Typically, we go to roll call, but we have some oaths of office to take care of. Mike, do you want to help us out?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have returning, either new or returning members, Mr. Lambros, Ms. Sinha, Ms. Zabrowski, Mr. Pato, and Mr. Ziner. If you'd all just rise and raise your right hand, and let me swear you in. Repeat after me, I, and then state your name.
I, Stephen Patos,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to
and
the
to the
government
government
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office
all the duties of the office
of Planning Board member
of Planning Board member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
And if you choose, you can add, so help me God.
So help me
Your
God.
choice. Welcome back. We're here.
All right, thanks, everybody. So next, Danielle, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Newman.
Yes.
Mr. Lambros.
Here.
Committeewoman Zabrowski.
Here.
Mr. Beck.
Here.
Mr. Cotby.
Here.
Mr. Pato.
Yes.
Ms. Sinha.
Here.
Mr. Ziner.
Present.
Ms. Riley.
Here.
And let the record reflect, Mr. Pepe is absent, and Ms. Riley will be seated for Mr. Pepe.
Okay. And in terms of our board professionals, I know Matt is unavailable tonight.
That is correct.
Okay, not a problem. So the first thing on our agenda is election of officers, and while the first position is chairperson, I've been facilitating our meeting for the moment just to get us to this point, and I appreciate everyone indulging me that opportunity. So we would first look for a motion to appoint a chairperson.
I'll make the motion.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Go ahead.
You got it.
Go ahead.
Tom, you got
I
it.
make the motion, Mitch.
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
second it.
All right, we have a second. And any further discussion? No, and I certainly respectfully and it's my honor to accept the nomination. Thank you very much. And this is the one time I'll get a chance to say this, so I'll say it. This is now going into my 20th year on the planning board and as the planning board chairman. That's crazy, hard to believe. And I think, Mike, it's your 20-year anniversary. We'll get to that in a second. And Matt's as well.
Mine too.
Is it yours too, Tom? Anyone else on the? No one's greater than 20, right? Right, okay, all right. All right, guys. So we're top there. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
I think at the center of the table.
Yeah, is that what I get? All right. Well, thank you. What I've really gotten or achieved is the honor of serving Millstone Township and the Planning Board. It's been wonderful, and there's been some complicated times. There's been a lot of fun times, and my goal is to always follow the advice. So I'll just get a little weird for a minute. My goal is always to try to follow the advice of my late Uncle Solly from Brooklyn, and he worked his career in the Parks Department for New York. So not a very high-level position for sure, but guided his family through their life in that role, which I kind of think he was in charge of sanitation for the parks, and that was about it, literally moving the sanitation waste around. But so when I was and he always was the funniest guy in the world. So Uncle Solly heard I was going to be graduating law school. This was several decades ago, and he pulls me aside. He said, "So you're graduating law school?" I said, Yeah. He says, "Okay." And then what's he going to say? You know, he's constantly the funniest guy. And he said, "You let me know when you graduate, and we'll have some fun with it." We never did get a chance to have any fun with it, but I've made that a staple of my life and career, that if we can have a little fun with it, let's do it. So that's sometimes what guides me, and sometimes what you hear as I talk and have a little fun in this role and with all of you. So I appreciate you always indulging me and the nomination and the opportunity. So with that, Danielle, would you please call the roll?
Lovely. Mr. Lambros.
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski.
Yes.
Mr. Beck.
Yes.
Mr. Copley.
Yes.
Mr. Pado.
Yes.
Ms. Sinha.
Yes.
Mr. Ziner.
Yes.
Ms. Riley.
Yes.
And Chairman Newman.
Okay, yes, and thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks. And next is the nomination, which we'll accept for Vice Chair. Steve, would you like to make a nomination?
Sure, I'll make the nomination that we vote for Vice Chairman Chris Pepe.
Okay, thank you. I'll second that nomination. Any discussion or other nominations? Seeing none, I know Chris is not here tonight, but I know he also is appreciative of the role. He will also he's also on his 20th anniversary, so it's pretty incredible. And we'll reach out for him, let him know, and tell him that he needs to get here to accept the nomination in person. With that, Danielle, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Lambros.
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski.
Yes.
Mr. Beck.
Yes.
Mr. Coffey.
Yes.
Mr. Pado.
Yes.
Ms. Sinha.
Yes.
Mr. Ziner.
Yes.
Ms. Riley.
Yes.
Chairman Newman.
Yes, thank you. Continuing with our reorganization, we have our professionals and staff, and some of the details. So let's start off with the position of board attorney. We have a proposal from Mike Stibe, our current attorney, and I've reviewed the proposal and reviewed it with Danielle, and it is, of course, continues to be acceptable and falls right within the four corners of the services that we need at acceptable rates. So Mike, I do appreciate that. So I would like to take this one and make the motion to continue to appoint Mike as our planning board attorney.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Any other nominations or discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Lambros.
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski.
Yes.
Mr. Beck.
Yes.
Mr. Coffey.
Yes.
Mr. Pado.
Yes.
Ms. Sinha.
Yes.
Mr. Ziner.
Yes.
Ms. Riley.
Yes.
Chairman Newman.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, congrats, Mike.
Thank you. It's
All right.
good to be here.
Okay, 20's now what we're into.
Well,
Crazy.
my Uncle Harold once said to me, Mike, there are no golden years.
Okay, I think I would have liked to be here, Harold.
Congratulations.
All right, next up is our planning board engineer, and we have a proposal submitted by Matt Shafai and his firm of Avakian. There are no counter proposals, and of course, Matt always does a fantastic job for the board, and his proposal is consistent with the services that the board requires, and his rates continue to be fair. So with that, I'd look to a nomination for our engineer.
I'll make it.
Okay, for Matt?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Just wonder if you pull someone out of your pocket. All right, I'll second the nomination. Any other nominations or suggestions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Lambros.
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski.
Yes.
Mr. Beck.
Yes.
Mr. Coffey.
Yes.
Mr. Pado.
Yes.
Ms. Sinha.
Yes.
Mr. Ziner.
Yes.
Ms. Riley.
Yes.
Chairman Newman.
Yes. All right, another 20-year guy. So we don't get anything for 20 years? Is that what you're saying, Dave?
I may sneak some sucking candies in the drawer for you next evening.
All right, I'll take it. All right, next is our planner. We have a proposal submitted by McKinley and our firm of Hire, Gruel and Associates, and there were no counter proposals, but I, again, have reviewed that proposal with Danielle and find it to be acceptable, following the services that the board needs, and we always appreciate your great work, McKinley, and guidance. Thank you very much, particularly when assisting Mike and the board on the affordable housing matters. That's very important to us. Thank you. What year are you on?
Not 20.
I shouldn't have, I will not ask a young lady any more things about years.
No, I mean, probably Higher Girl's been with the township since 2015, I think, and I came in about 2016. So.
Okay, we'll give you 15.
Thanks.
Yeah, you just got an extra year of service.
Great.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to reappoint McKinley and her firm?
Yep.
Okay, we have the motion at the end. I'll second the motion. Any further nominations or discussions? Seeing none, Danielle, please call the roll.
Mr. Lambros.
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mr. Pado?
Yes.
Ms. Sinha?
Yes.
Mr. Ziner?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Chairman Newman?
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks. Next up is our court reporter. So Angela, you submitted your proposal. Thank you. You're only going to get Angela, right? That's our thing. Angela, just for the heck of it, when was your first year with us?
I was just trying to, it's close to 20.
Close to 20. All right, she's not at 20. It's not that impressive.
I came in when Pam came in.
Okay, so that was a couple years or maybe a year into it. I think there was one or two people before Pam, maybe just one.
One.
Was
There was one person. before.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. All
How long
right.
was Pam here?
Long time.
18 years, something like that. Hey, hang in there another year and you'll get there. It's very exciting. Apparently you get candy in your drawer. That's what you're looking forward to. So Angela always does a fantastic job, sometimes under complicated circumstances for the acoustics that we put her in. And we always appreciate her patience and guidance through the process of trying to keep track of what we're all saying. So thank you. I reviewed her proposal, as did Danielle, and it's consistent with the services the board seeks. And you'll just do a great job. So I would nominate Angela to continue as our go-to court reporter. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, that's a lot of seconds. You must be very popular. All right, any further nominations or questions? Seeing none, Danielle, please call the roll.
Mr. Lambros?
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mr. Pado?
Yes.
Ms. Sinha?
Yes.
Mr. Ziner?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Chairman Newman?
Yes, okay. We might have saved the best for last. Be careful, we have candy on the line here. So I would certainly, with a pleasure, nominate Danielle to continue as our board secretary. I'd like to hear a whole lot of seconds.
I'll second.
There you go. I think the
Coming after
audience,
all you.
yeah, the audience seconded a little bit too, so I think we gotta write them all down.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks. So please call the roll.
Thank you. Mr. Lambros?
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mr. Pado?
Yes.
Ms. Sinha?
Yes.
Mr. Ziner?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
And Chairman Newman?
Yes,
Thank you
thanks.
very
All
much,
right,
everyone.
appreciate your continued fantastic service. All right, next is the designation of the official newspapers. We've typically gone with the Asbury Park Press and the Times of Trenton. We're going to continue with that, so I'll make a motion to continue with those newspapers. Is there a second?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any other counter newspapers? Seeing none, Danielle, please call the roll.
Mr. Lambros?
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mr. Pado?
Yes.
Ms. Sinha?
Yes.
Mr. Ziner?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Chairman Newman?
Yes. Item 7, which is some proposed rules and regulations, we're going to defer that to another meeting. Simply haven't had time to dig through the draft, so let's hold on number 7 for another time. Next, item 8 in the reorganization is the adoption of our 2023 meeting schedule and setting the 2024 reorganization first date. So I'm going to read through, I'll make the motion, and in the context of that motion, I'll read through all the dates so they're at least in the record. And most important, I can confirm that none of them fall on my wife's birthday, so we're all good. So the dates for this year, aside from tonight, for this year's meetings, and then the first in 2024, is February 8th, 2023, March 8th, 2023, April 12th, 2023, May 10th, 2023, June 14th, 2023, July 12th, 2023, August 9th, 2023, September 13th, 2023, October 11th, 2023, November 8th, 2023, December 13th, 2023, and then finally January 10th of 2024. Each of the meetings are anticipated to take place at 7:30 p.m. In this meeting room unless we otherwise provide such notice. Anything further we need on that motion, Danielle?
Just that we did propose at 7 o'clock. We did have some discrepancies with that time, so we are going to keep it at 7:30.
Okay. If we elect to revisit that during the course of the year, I assume we can do that with adequate public notice?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, all right, so for now, we'll stay with 7:30. The board may revisit that from time to time.
And that January 10th meeting will be the reorganization meeting and the first regular meeting combined
Okay,
for
sounds good.
2024.
All right, so that is the pending motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any further conversation on that? Seeing none, Danielle, please call the roll.
Mr. Lambros?
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mr. Pito?
Yes.
Ms. Sinha?
Yes.
Mr. Ziner?
Yes.
Ms. Riley? Yes. Chairman Newman?
Yes, all right. Thank you. I appreciate everyone indulging us as we concluded the reorganization part of our meeting. Next up on our agenda is public comment. If anyone, as a member of the public, would like to approach the planning board on something not otherwise scheduled for discussion on our agenda, this is your opportunity. Seeing none, we'll close that public portion and proceed to approval of our minutes from December 14th. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll move it.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second? Us.
Mr. Coffey?
Yeah,
Thank
we got
you.
it. All right, good. Any discussion or suggested revision? Seeing none, Danielle, please call the roll.
Committeewoman Zabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Mr. Pito?
Yes.
Ms. Sinha?
Yes.
Mr. Ziner?
Yes.
Ms. Riley? Yes. And Chairman Newman?
Yes. Okay, next up are applications. The first two are requests to adjourn and carry. We'll take them individually, of course. The first is JLE LLC, Block 20, Lots 3-13. Is there someone here on behalf of the applicant?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. Kenneth Faith on behalf of JLE LLC. This application was partially heard in December, and as a result of the hearing and the comments from the board, comments from your professionals, the applicant has gone back with his engineer and is redrawing the plan. The plan will be, I'm going to say, substantially amended. We're respectfully asking that you carry this application to February. If it's carried to February, I will renotice and republish. I believe that the revisions to the plan would warrant that. So
Okay.
we're asking that it be carried.
Danielle, what's our agenda look like for February?
Right now, we are anticipating this, and you'll see the next application that Mr. Peake also will be representing on that agenda.
Okay.
However, I just wanted to note, if you are revising the plans, we're going to ask if you can try to get them in at least 2 weeks prior to the meeting. It is a little difficult to get things rolling at that 10-day mark and getting them in before the board.
If we miss it, we'll let you know, and we'll
Yeah.
move you to March. But for the moment,
Thank you.
duly noted.
Okay, thank you. Do we need to take any action on this request?
If the board is in accordance with it, we can just announce it, that it is being carried to the February 8th, 2023 meeting, and the applicant will be sending out renoticing, so that you will get it. If you got a notice, you'll get another notice with respect to the carrying of the meeting. Otherwise, if you didn't get a notice and you're just here because you heard about it and are interested in it, it's being carried to February 8th at 7:30 p.m. in this same room.
Okay, thank you. Next on our agenda is 37 Burn Tavern LLC, Block 57, Lots 17.02 and 17.03. Mr. Pape, you're up.
Sure.
On
Yes,
behalf of the
again,
applicant.
Kenneth Pape on behalf of 37 Burn Tavern LLC. Mr. Chair, you'll recall in December, this application was continued to this evening with the express statement that it was being carried to this evening so that it could be scheduled to the February meeting when that date was known. So respectfully ask that it so be carried on the record to that date without the requirement of further notice or publication.
Danielle, was there a question about which of these two, JLE or 37 Burn Tavern, will lead off at the February meeting? Or Ken, it's just, I have something rolling around in my head about that.
The notice or the request for the extension letter that went out did have a note on there saying, it is my understanding, and the board has given me a guarantee saying that they will be first on the agenda for 37 Burn Tavern.
Okay.
And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we all know it
No,
and we remember it.
I did not remember. Mr. Newman was with me that evening and we had a sidebar chatting.
Yeah, your client, not me.
Yes. Yes. Menachem.
N-E-U-M-A-N.
Yeah, it's so different, you can't get confused. Yeah. Okay, all right, so we'll see you first then, unless something changes at your direction.
And if anyone from the crowd, from the audience has an interest in this application, 37 Burnt Tavern LLC, Block 57, Lot 17.02, 17.03, 37 and 41 Burnt Tavern Road, it is being carried to February 8th, 2023. This is the only notification you will hear about that. There will be no further notice required. So you need to be here at that date at 7:30 PM in this room for that hearing.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good night.
thanks, take care. All right, next on our agenda is request for reconsideration, Hexa Builders LLC, Block 9, Lot 7. Is there someone here on behalf of the applicant?
John Junko, Giordano, Halloran, and Cecil appearing on behalf of the applicant, which is Hexa Builders LLC. This is a motion that was made to the board to reconsider the denial action taken by the board at the December hearing. In that regard, the board voted 1-5 to deny the application. The first issue I think that we want to address to the board is that there is an authority and power granted by the courts to a board to reconsider applications when the issues of fact or law have mistakes. Based on the mistake, the concept that mistakes are the main basis to permit jurisdiction, there are any other number of reasons that can be used for reconsideration. We contended, however, and would advise the board that we believe there were a number of mistakes of fact made during the application. And I'm not sure, but I would hope you all read my motion. But the first is that a tree survey was waived by ordinance. That became a critical issue of the board. That argument was put on page 2, carried over to page 3. The second part is that the board misunderstood the fact, or the second step. Mr. Chairman, do you want me to discuss each of these issues in detail? But I
No, the board has
understand that your attorney has probably reviewed these with you, and I don't want to, I'll make any describe it as much as needed, but I don't need to repeat anything you already familiar.
I can advise the board, I have reviewed the brief that was submitted by Mr. Junko with regard to the first issue with regard to their...
You know what, Mr. Staub, I made a mistake here. I did serve notice for this application.
Correct, understood. And there was, the transcript demonstrated that he is correct that there was a mistake in one of the items of information that was given to the board. In addition to that, I've reviewed the case law that he has submitted with regard to a misstatement of fact, or just a mistake in looking at what the law is in connection with an application, and his arguments with respect to the fact that there are case law that say where you are complying with the ordinances that an approval should be given, and has been said in the Pizzo-Manton case. In the other cases, the Klug case, the Meridian case, that says that when the applicant complies with the rules, abides by the rules, and meets the requirements, that they're entitled to get an approval. So to that extent, the applicant is saying, we think you might have missed the boat on some of those legal principles, and therefore we should be entitled to come back to you, ask for reconsideration, tell you why, and then the board can decide whether to move forward.
Second?
And Mr. Junko, you don't have to go through it in detail to the extent that we did receive your paperwork, and our attorney has given us some guidance on this, but I don't want to take away from your ability to make your presentation. So,
well, if you don't want me to go through that portion, I will defer based on your recommendation that the board's familiar with it, and I'm going to anticipate there was some acceptance of these arguments on the bit, because that's why I'm here, I imagine. So, assuming that's the case, there are a couple of, I would like to add some arguments to the fact that I had the opportunity to review the proposed resolution. I would just like to go through some background here. This application was brought based on a settlement agreement between our client and the township. And in the settlement agreement, it provided that this project, or this site, could provide to develop 242 residential units on the site. That would be 48 affordable units, and the balance would be market rate. Our client, however, determined to comply with an application of 150 units to 122 townhomes and 48 apartments. So they maintained the affordable obligation at 48, despite the fact that it's based on a percentage of the market rate units, and decreased the market rate units in order to provide for a larger unit, so that the width and size of the market rate townhouses are larger than what was approved in the agreement and granted by the courts and by our contractual agreements with the township. So that starts the first part that I think the board has to consider, is that this is less than 242 units. And second, as Mr. Stodd pointed out, there was no request for waivers or for variances during the course of the hearing, and the project, any variances that have been identified had been removed, and we come to the decision date where the application has no variances. Now, with that comes the mistake of law that Mr. Stodd spoke of, and it's recognized in several cases, and the one you're probably most familiar with is called Pizzo-Manton, which is a case that's very clearly decides and determines that if an application is made and meets the requirements of the ordinance, that it is entitled to an approval. In this instance, both our preliminary and final applications met those standards. So then, based on that and each of the other arguments in my brief, I believe independently, without any of the other arguments, would support a reconsideration. However, we stated all of the, not all of, but several bases upon which the board could consider that. Reviewing the proposed resolution of approval, I note there are a few things that I think I would like you to continue to consider, and that is, first, that this resolution is only, says it only approves preliminary. Given the fact that there is no variances for either preliminary or final, and that the land use law is very specific, that where the final approval is consistent with preliminary approval, final shall be granted, I would request the board consider that this should be an approval for preliminary and final. The second factor that I think is very important is the threatened and endangered species surveys. In both of those instances, we anticipate that there are agreements between the township and the applicant that reduce those standards and called for relaxation of those environmental standards. And in fact, that the board did not accommodate that, and particularly under the next point, which is the tree survey ordinance. First of all, under ordinance 20-04, our client and our application is exempt. And second, the board's position of measuring the trees to be removed does not relax the ordinance. That is the ordinance, because it says, requires identification of trees to be cut, thus the area of disturbance. So whether you call it cutting or disturbance, it's the same thing. And finally, the issue, the sound test. When we were at the hearing, Mr. Chairman, you and I had a exchange, and you asked, would we consider demonstrating that the units were in compliance with this applicable sound standards imposed upon the state by NJDEP regulation. And during that discussion, we went back and forth, and you specifically said you would have to run these and do a noise test. But if you demonstrate the science shows us what the levels are adequate, it's probably a better way to do it. The resolution goes out of it, and I responded by saying, I think that's a fine condition. It'll probably require a new engineer's report, and I think it's a reasonable condition, because when we talk about the science, I simply was going to rely on the fact that each of those units provide a measurement from the manufacturer as to the sound generation. And I would ask the board to reconsider that particular point, because you're talking about conducting somewhere around 240 sound tests individually on each one of these machines. There's a principle of affordable housing that speaks about unnecessary cost generation. We're not buying a machine that exceeds the standard. Our client is going to buy the machines that are specified by the manufacturer to meet the standard. Further, regardless of any of those conditions, which I'd ask you to reconsider and approve on behalf of the applicant, we would, of course, appreciate an approval as opposed to a denial. However, we continue to have and are not waiving any of the rights that are established under any of the agreements or ordinances that were adopted in order to permit this project to be developed in a fully conforming format by the municipal government during our negotiations. And with that, I've submitted the brief, I've made my comments subsequent. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them. Mr. Chairman, is there any other points or issues that you would like to have addressed? Because I may have passed over something that's of interest to the board.
No, I appreciate you explaining your concerns and presenting your motion or your request for reconsideration. So, Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you to help provide some guidance to the board, and that might inspire some conversation.
Okay, well, I think first, it's a request for reconsideration. The board chooses to reconsider, the board can do that. This is on notice, and I think the public has the opportunity, if they want to either ask questions or to provide input, they should be given that opportunity before the board moves further. That being said, with respect to the request for reconsideration, as set forth in Mr. Junko's brief, there is ample case law, statutory law that allows a board to revisit a determination as to an application if the board finds that there may have been a mistake or something that they didn't consider that they should have considered, and that they're coming up with a fair and just result by rehearing, or I shouldn't say rehearing, by reconsidering the application. So there's law to support that, and the applicants here are requesting that at this point in time. With respect to the items that the applicant brought forth, I can respond to them, but I would just as soon hear the public first and then give you my comments.
Okay. As part of the board's reconsideration of this application, we will open it up to the public to hear from any members of the public on this matter. So this is your opportunity to either ask a question. We're opening up to the public to either ask a question of the applicant's counsel or to address any comments or questions to the board.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Chester DiLorenzo is here also if there's an engineering question.
Okay, thank you. We'll see where we go.
Of course, we got this one here.
Yes, thank you. Anything for any members of the public? Yeah, please approach the microphone with your name and address, please.
Charles Borse, 60 Red Valley Road, Clarksburg, New Jersey. I think you guys have been here enough where you guys pretty much know where I stand. I'm going to leave it to you guys. You're going to make the best decision. However, you know how I feel. To me, it seems like maybe purposely they wanted to go down this road. They have so-called experts who accidentally, purposely contaminated soil samples and things like that. It just seems like maybe they wanted you to reject it because they want to try to get it in front of a, what is it, the
Court.
Court later on at the state level. I'm not sure, so I'm going to leave it to you guys to do what's best, but, you know, I just feel like this is the unfortunate situation that we're in.
Okay, thank you. Anything further from any members of the public? Again.
Mr. Chairman, do we want to swear?
Do we need to swear the public in if they're making a comment?
He was making a comment. I don't think he was giving any new testimony.
Okay.
He was relying on prior testimony in the record.
Okay. Name and address, please.
Hi, Catherine Lugo, 112 Baird Road. I was just curious on what was exactly meant of the relaxation of environmental comment. It said, I forgot your name. relaxation of environmental standard.
I can address that. In the settlement that was reached in the declaratory judgment proceeding, which regarding the affordable housing plan of the town, there were certain sites that were designated for affordable housing, including this site. And as part of that, and as part of the COA regulations, when someone has an affordable site and an inclusionary development, the COA regulations encourage municipalities, in this case the municipality did, discuss with the applicant relaxing standards that would be cost consuming to reduce cost of the project in order to allow affordable projects to move forward on that basis. In this case, the relaxation that Mr. Junko was just talking to was with respect to the tree ordinance and the threatened and endangered species, which in what has been proposed by the board is that we're not relaxing those standards. We're going to have our people look at their reports and review them and go through them. So he's asking the board to not do that, and currently the board is saying we really feel that should be done.
Yeah, I would not be happy with just disregarding our environmental whole way of living here in Millstone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Any other members of the public? If you want to approach this again, let's go through the group first.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, name and address,
Rita
please.
Highland, 1038 Windsor Road, Millstone. I live fairly close to where this is going to be, and I would encourage the board to continue on with the endangered species because there is a lot of animals out that way. There's been bald eagles and a variety of other animals, and I don't know how it affects the farms there if they find an endangered species on their property. I don't know if they've reported it or not, and I don't know how it affects the farms that are there. So it may be underreported, but I know there are things that are out that way that are on the endangered species.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anything further? If not, yeah, you can stand up again.
Charles Boris, 60 Red Valley Road, Clarksburg, New Jersey. Again, it's being brought up, cost of additional testing is one of the reasons they keep bringing up. What is the cost, roughly, of this additional testing that they're trying not to incur?
That's not the board's consideration. If they're doing any testing, it's at their cost, and if the board is evaluating or getting further into what they've done, the board's costs are passed along back to the applicant. So we didn't get into the exact costs.
All right, because I know there was, they mentioned that for instance, the shade trees, that's one of the testing they didn't want to do because they didn't want to incur the extra cost. So I was curious.
That cost us $5,000.
So that's $5,000. So, I'm just wondering, what are these additional tests that they're trying not to incur? What is the grand total of those tests that they don't want to incur the cost of?
We don't have that number, but as Mike had said, it's not our intention to relax those matters, so those will be costs that'll fall on the side of the applicant.
Okay. I was just curious because it just seems like such a bad look, in my opinion, that they're able to say, oh, because it's going to be affordable housing, we don't want to do any extra measures that are going to cost us more money. That kind of seems like you're not doing your due diligence to the people who would live there if it did get approved.
Mr. Boris, we understand that. Unfortunately, that comes from the Supreme Court of the state.
Yeah, I
and the
understand.
legislature.
That's
It's not-
nobody at this level, but it just seems so strange to me. That's all. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you again. Anything further from the public? Seeing none, then we'll close the public portion of this reconsideration motion. Anything further from the applicant before we pose any questions?
Only if there's a question.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just make 5 comments as to the points that Mr. Junko raised. First one was with respect to the settlement agreement, and that there were initially 242 units that were permitted with 48 affordables, which was the 20% set aside. They've now reduced the total number of units to 170 with 122, which would only require 24 affordable units. They're still providing 48, and each of those 48 units is going to get a double hit, so we get a 96 unit credit. Secondly,
Can I just,
yes.
McKinley, and that's part of our affordable housing plan?
Correct. The 48 number plus what Mike just referred to as the 2-for-1 bonus, all of that is in the court-approved plan.
Okay, thank you.
If I may add to that, in addition to the 49 units, you get 44 credits because they're rentals. So this qualifies the equivalent of
96.
That's what I said, 96
Yeah.
units.
The equivalent of 96 units.
Yes, so the
Okay.
You
getting
don't have to build 44 of them based on this scenario.
Right. Secondly, Mr. Junko was arguing that they would prefer final approval at this time as opposed to preliminary. He cited some cases and the statute, particularly he had cited statute 4055D-50, which says that final approval should be given where the final approval conforms to the standards established by ordinance, and then it says, and the conditions of preliminary approval. I think the board has to make a decision whether or not you want to accede to their request for final or stick with the preliminary. The preliminary approval, as to what I understand from the board, is that there are a lot of outstanding I's that need to be dotted, T's that need to be crossed, to make you comfortable with getting to saying, okay, this preliminary is good, all the conditions have been satisfied, we're now ready for final. So, I mean, you have things that are in the conditions here, such as confirming the lines for the flood area line that hasn't been confirmed yet, the letter of interpretation line that they believe they've done it right, but we don't have the final decision from DEP. There was also a bioretention basin situation with regard to the stormwater management, those kinds of things that can be cleaned up, but that in our discussion, the board felt more comfortable making that conditions of preliminary so that when it comes in for final, then all that stuff is cleaned up. With respect to the threatened and endangered species, the agreements do talk about relaxation, but as Mr. Ziner had commented, I think on probably the last meeting that we were at, relaxation doesn't mean giving it all up and eliminating it. Same thing with regard to the tree ordinance. It talks about relaxation. In this case, the T&E, the board feels that this is an environmentally sensitive site. It does have wetlands, wetland buffers, other environmentally sensitive features. So the board felt most comfortable, wanting to have that information first. With regard to the tree ordinance, the board did agree to relax it and said, look, we're not going to make this whole 36-acre property, make them do tree surveys when they're not going to touch 26 of them. And so we'll limit it to the area of disturbance. And that's what this board felt comfortable with, because we're not going to make them do a survey on areas that they're not going to disturb. And with regard to the sound, that was something that the chairman had the discussion with. I looked at the transcript, and I think Mr. Junko's description of that was accurate.
I would like
but
to...
I know that the chairman felt that he would like to have something in the field, because sometimes the conditions that are set forth, or I should say the specs that are set forth by a manufacturer, don't necessarily translate in the field.
And Mr. Junko, my understanding of that condition is it does not say, nor does it require every unit, every condenser. So I would tell you that my guidance to Matt is that he will work with your professionals to determine where tests are needed so that it's limited to certain areas.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think that may need a revision to the language in the resolution.
Yeah, I'm trying not to do that.
Well, I realize that, but that's okay. But how do we we can't test them until the buildings are built and the units installed.
How
So
does
if
it
you don't-
look presently?
Right now, and this is
Well,
condition
the
12.
condition doesn't say you have to have this before final, it says before the CO is issued.
Right,
So that's a
regardless-
condition that anticipates that it's not going to have to be complied with until after final approval and construction.
Which is very difficult to consider if you're the builder. Because to put the unit in service, to test it, as the board requires, the building has to be built, the units have to be put in place. As a developer, not as a builder, our client, just like every other builder, and most likely every application you've approved in this town, relies upon the standard that the manufacturer issues for their sound generation. In this instance, it's not only taking a very difficult view, and I don't think the ordinance, and given the care that the board has given to this application, I'm not willing to be remiss to my clients and say, oh, you only have to test samples. Let's test each one. That's what we would do. However, I come back to the point that the only time the test is done is after all that work and expense is made. We have no choice but to rely on the manufacturer's specifications, just like every other home builder does, including Lennar and KHOV and so forth and so on. But in our instance, if we put it in and one machine is off, we have to take it out and replace it. And that would all be after the buildings were built and before we could get a C of O, and presumably, since that condition isn't met, we couldn't even have final approval at that point. So I
No,
know
this would be a post-final approval.
it does not say that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so then.
It says
But-
before C of O.
Can I add something?
Sure, go ahead.
So, knowing that the provision is in the resolution,
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing
Okay.
you. And I did put my hearing aids in.
sure, knowing that that condition is in the resolution and written the way that it is, and knowing that there is equipment out there that has different sound levels, some have lower sound levels than others, would it make sense for Hexa to, or the applicant to search for low noise units to put in these? Because the sound from one unit might be different than when 12 of them lined up right next to each other are all on at the same time. So does it make sense to install low volume units so that you can not only meet the ordinance but also conform to the language in the resolution?
Well, I'm not a sound engineer,
Neither am
but
I.
I've heard a lot of testimony about it over the years, and I don't think it accumulates, like if you have 12, it isn't 12 times the sound. But be that as it may, I think our client already would be buying machines specified to meet the standards. You certainly put in the resolution that our client has to seek out the best machines. We'll be able to do that. My objection is based on the fact that the timing, the expense involved, because to wait to get to the end only to find this out and have to build the building and get the machines running and then to learn that we need to replace them, I think that would really damage an affordable housing project substantially. And I don't think it's necessary, given the fact that we're not saying that we are doing this. My client has told me they will buy a unit that meets the standards. Now, that's a specification that the company was giving us.
So,
I mean,
is the
whether we rely
machine,
on them or...
are the machines in question the air-conditioned units,
Yes.
the generators, or the
The
septic
ACs.
system that they plan on using?
Well, the way that the condition is currently proposed and written, and it's only one sentence, I'll read it. It's condition 12. Prior to the issuance of the first certificate of occupancy, the applicant shall provide a wave test confirming that noise levels of generators and condensers, which is air conditioning condensers, do not exceed NJDEP levels. So my pushback was this must be a post-final approval issue because it's at the time of CO and you wouldn't build the units until you had final. But we could clear that up. And then the other topic, the other thing we brought up, or I brought up, is I didn't intend, in my thinking, that you're testing every single HVAC condenser. So my thinking, and this happens a lot, is we leave things like this to the discretion of our engineer to work with you and whoever your acoustical consultant might be and come up with a reasonable location, and we're comfortable that you'll work it out in the field, so to speak.
But doesn't that resolution require the project to be built before the testing can be done? Because I think that was part of what you're interested in, was accumulation of sound.
But true, in a most exaggerated way, you could say we have to build 200 some odd homes to do this. My intention.
But 242 was the number permitted.
Okay, whatever the number.
It was substantially below that.
Okay, so my intention was this could take place in phases or sections or whatever you and Matt can work out. Whether it's a group of units or a string of units.
Well, I'm requesting the board consider that reliance upon the manufacturer's specifications can be done for each machine. We can deliver that to the board, and it's going to speak for itself. My client is not the manufacturer. He's trying to buy a product that's going to be useful, have a long life, and not be overly costly, particularly for the affordable units.
And
This is more than just the affordable units, this is the entire development.
I got to apologize again, I just really didn't hear what you said.
I'm saying it's more than just the affordable units, it's for the entire development.
Well, I understand that.
So the thing is when you look at it as an aggregate of 170 units, there's going to be a level of noise that's unaccustomed to the town. This is a development that's in the town that's of a density that's nowhere else. So us as a board is concerned with the noise level with respect to all the other neighbors within the area. I don't think anybody that's living right next to this development wants to hear a vibration or a humming or anything, all hours of the day and night.
Well, again, the very reason that we went through the whole process of having an affordable housing program, going before the courts, discussing these agreements, discussing what the plan would be, is to be able to deliver it at an affordable price, because that is what the law says. We didn't come up with this idea, we followed the rules.
We're not arguing the affordable units versus we're arguing that the entire development, affordable and non-affordable.
Exactly.
The aggregate, we're concerned with the noise level. That's why this condition is in the resolution.
Well, I do understand that, but let me explain that the way that the affordable units can afford to be built is by selling the market units and diverting some portion of what would be profit.
That's fine. All we're asking...
All you're asking is exactly the opposite of what the courts provide.
No, we're not. We're asking that it's unnecessary noise pollution at the end of the day. If you want to take it to the EPA, fine, but this is our condition.
Well, I don't think the EPA is involved in this. It would be the NJDEP,
whatever regulatory authority it is.
Township.
But right now, as far as I think we're in agreement, this condition is staying in the resolution.
Well,
That's a condition. If you leave it, you leave it. I understand that.
So, and Jeff, I just want to point out, because we may divert on this, I was not anticipating that this test happens after all the units are built, only because I understand the practicality of it is the units are built and occupied in phases, so by the time it's all built, 90% of them are occupied. And it would be tough to tell homeowners that their equipment's being changed at that point, if that's where this all goes. My thinking, which I did not, apparently I didn't enunciate it more clearly at the hearing, my thinking is this was at its most a building by building scenario, because you, in my experience, you build a building, whatever the string of units is, maybe it's an 8-unit string, you build that, and then you begin occupancy for the units in that building, but that's your opportunity to do that noise test when those 8 HVACs can be turned on for a moment in time. And yes, it's not going to be all the units turned on at once that we'll be able to legitimately test, but it'll be in my opinion, a fair and representative sample as you do it on a building-by-building basis. So that's where I was thinking at the time when I put this out there, and that's not how it exactly reads. I'll grant you that. What I'm saying is less intense than what we have here in the resolution.
Mitch, I'm comfortable with the way that it's written. I'm comfortable the way that it's written because there's nobody here that can tell us that quiet condensers cost more than noisy condensers, and that noisy condensers cost less than quiet condensers, just like we're not engineers. So it's possible that, it's conceivable that the applicant can achieve what they should do to meet the DEP level of noise with the way that the condition is written.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
may I ask, did you consider the applicable standards of UHAC in your analysis?
Standards of what?
UHAC? The ratio of affordable units that have to be in service?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Simultaneously with the market. So I appreciate your idea you could build one, but you'd have to build all the, you have to build the affordables at the same time.
Okay, I think we're going to wrap up this discussion. One more point, go ahead.
Yeah, may I elaborate on that? The way this thing is going to be built, they're going to build the first units, first building. It's not finished, then they go to the second one, the second one, the second one. If they're good enough, have kind of people, they'll probably be doing multiple this side and that side together to expedite what they got to do. At the end of the day, it's like a series of things. These carpenters here, then they're here, then they're here, and so forth, and the finishers. You're gonna see one building completely done, okay? Without being occupied or whatever, obviously they're gonna put their air conditions in and everything. You can test that. And based on that, if you have a sound engineer or something like that, based on that, you'll be able to gauge what the entire community is gonna get. And that will clear the whole thing. That's one thing. The other thing is, all these units are going to come with a fact sheet. How much they give, noise and stuff like that. You combine them together with an engineer, obviously, have to do the test on it and stuff like that, and do some calculations. We'll be able to tell you everything. So you only need, like you said, like the first batch to come in, and then you'll find out, and then we can have a conversation with them.
So what I would like to suggest, if the board would indulge me, is I continue to think that the way the condition is read is satisfactory, the way it's written, it is satisfactory that this is a post-final approval obligation, and I think it's written in a way that, as with probably most of our conditions, there's some ability to work with our town engineer to effectuate how this is carried out. So I believe that's already baked into the way this is written, so I'm in favor of leaving the language the way it is and relying on our engineer to take the best course in the field.
Second.
Okay. All right, anything else we need to discuss, Mike, or you want to bring to our attention?
No.
Okay. So we have the motion for reconsideration, we've
Oh,
discussed.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. There was one thing that Matt was going to bring up tonight, but since he's not here, I'm going to try to represent it for him.
Okay.
There was a point that was a little ambiguous in the record about, we had a lot of discussion about the potential for bedrooms on the third floor of the townhouses. And there was some ambiguity in the record about, because it was decided that there were going to be no, bedrooms, there's going to be a den or some kind of usable office space, but there was some discrepancies about whether or not a bathroom was going to be permitted up there. And I think Matt had some concern associated with, if there's a bathroom, then there could be another bedroom, and then there's potential issues with septic.
What did we say in the resolution? We addressed
It says
that
the
in
townhouse the townhouse units shall not have bedrooms in the upper level.
Right.
And
But-
I guess
And
his
it says
concern was,
optional loft area, et cetera, and such areas shall not be converted into a bedroom. The prohibition shall be included in the unit sale contracts.
Okay, so is that satisfactory? Okay,
I think
So-
that covers us.
good. Just wanted to, I know that was something he was going to bring up, so I wanted to make sure it was touched
No,
on.
that's in the conditions.
Great, thank you.
Well, if I may, on that point, The testimony was consistent, that there was not planning to be a bedroom. That testimony came not only from the architect, but from the engineer and from my representations. That is our client's intent. I didn't raise any objection to that particular provision because our client does not intend to utilize it as a bedroom. Once it's sold, we can't control it. That's up to the town to supervise them.
Okay.
But I think we're saying it's deed restricted to the development.
Correct. It also,
It would be in the master
Yes,
deed.
the
It would be in
development.
the HOA, yes.
right, one of the, condition 5 says the HOA documents will include the restriction above, and the restriction above is this bedroom restriction. So
Correct.
it'll be baked into the recorded association documents for the association, and if the association doesn't enforce it, for the town to step in.
Fair enough.
Right. So I think we're covered on that.
Yeah.
McKinley,
Yeah.
Does
thank
that
you.
mean that the bathrooms, because I thought the bathrooms were being removed from one of the plans? Were they still on the plans?
No, I don't think there's bathrooms in the attic. I think that what was said is do not install any bathrooms in the attic. I think that's what it said.
So, I think the issue is that the drawings were not updated to reflect that there was not going to be a bathroom in the loft area is the issue.
Yeah, the drawings, I don't know if the drawings have been redone.
No, they haven't.
Mike, is there a general condition in the resolution that requires the drawings to be updated to effectuate this approval? I'm sure there is, we just have to find it.
I mean, the way I remember it,
I don't recall that.
Well, I
attic
think,
is an attic, and that's the end of it. There's no, nothing in there.
Correct.
I
Well,
mean,
no,
to
no.
do
It
for,
could be storage, it could be, you know,
Well,
anything.
it
but
actually
not living
says
space.
it can only be storage, it cannot be habitable.
No,
So
no,
a bathroom would create it as habitable.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think we are covered there.
Well-
And if they have to revise the drawings to match the approval conditions, that's another reason for us to take that last look at final approval.
In order for them to satisfy the conditions, these drawings have to be revised to conform.
Right.
But did we find attic, bathrooms in the attic?
So on the drawings that we have in our possession, there's bathrooms in the attic.
I don't think so.
bedrooms.
I don't think they were updated. I
don't think there was any proposal for bathrooms.
The discussion in
There's
the
definitely
transcripts that I
In
looked
any
at was
event, our client has
bedrooms.
agreed to that all along. It's not an issue from our perspective.
And either way, when Matt does resolution compliance, if it's not updated to that condition, they're gonna have to update it, so.
Well, it's a condition.
Exactly,
Right.
yeah,
You
it's a
know,
condition.
If
They
you're
have to
not
meet it.
satisfied the way that we presented it, then
Yeah,
you'll
how
express
does-
that, and we'll try and meet it.
Yeah, how does the township enforce not building a bedroom in the upper floor when there's a bathroom there?
That's the question that every town faces.
But
right. It's an
this is
enforcement
not a
issue.
town with a public water and sewer system that can handle the excess.
Well,
This is a very sensitive,
Well, to put in that bathroom, they're gonna have to get a permit,
building
and
permits.
if they're exceeding the flow allowance under the permits, then
Yeah. They're gonna-
There's a couple of
the
things
CO.
that you can do, okay, on a plan, okay, make sure on a plan. The height of the attic, if the height of the attic is not high enough, you know, like maybe 6 feet or something like that, is not a hazard. Pipes going up there, okay, you don't have to have any pipe going up there, any plumbing or anything like that. The HVAC can go only up on the top, like maybe unit on the top and stuff like that, whatever they do. But, you know, once you start seeing pipes and stuff like that going up, and the height is 8 feet and going, then yes, of course it can be done. But if the height is within range, add an attic, 6 feet, maybe 7.
Well, so we're gonna
It's not
have
be a
to,
bedroom.
so we'll have to rely on the documents, the recorded HOA documents, as well as the fact that they would need a permit to add that plumbing feature. Short of that, Steve, if somebody wants to go rogue out there, not a lot we're gonna be able to do.
okay. So the attic will not,
Before
the attic
anything
space will
is
not
built,
have.
You're getting a plan,
bathroom.
and you're
Correct.
approving it. If it has a bathroom on the 3rd floor, I'd recommend you don't approve it.
Of course.
No bathroom on the 3rd floor, correct?
Yeah, and that's,
Okay.
2.5 level floors.
this is an issue you're wrestling amongst yourselves with. You've agreed to it all along.
Yeah, they're good with it.
All right, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. So with that, Mike, unless there's anything else we need to go through,
I want to make one more comment when I'm able.
yeah, Wilson, so go ahead, because I was going to get
I
us
just
to
want
a
to point out that
conclusion.
every one of these conditions that you're requiring to be part of a preliminary approval in order to apply for a final are typical and standard conditions that this board has imposed multiple times as a condition of preliminary and final. And the end result of that is that the same conditions have to be met by our client to get the building permits. What you've done is add another additional cost step of going through the process of another final approval application after we've already made one and followed the ordinance requirements without variance. That is somewhat that I don't think any of the things that you want us to do are not suitable as a condition of preliminary and final. What you're doing is imposing an additional cost on our clients to come back after a preliminary, after meeting these conditions, and then waiting to go through the final process. It could be a condition of final. That was part of what this argument is made of. But I understand. I just wanted to make sure that, I'm sure the board understands that. I'm sure you're familiar with the other resolutions you've done that have these kind of conditions for preliminary and final. And that's, I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Okay. And we find the circumstances of this application to be unique enough to proceed the way that we would like to propose. And also, the resolution did say that any fees that you paid for the final approval will be rolled over for your eventual final approval application. And even if we change those fees, you won't be subject to those increases, to help with you with that
But
issue.
that's a very minimal part of the cost.
But you're welcome
Just
anyway.
paying the engineer review fees, the planner review fees are certainly going to exceed any application fees, not to mention the additional time and cost factors associated with delay in an affordable project.
Okay, understand.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Well, these are arguments I want to make on behalf of my clients.
Yeah,
And
thank you
I'm
for sharing your
These are
argument.
nothing novel in my thoughts. These are all things that have come out of cases that have been decided and/or decisions that we're aware of, made right here in Monmouth County.
Okay, thank you. I think we both stated our concerns and our positions. I appreciate that. Mike, so at this time, we've heard from the applicant, we've heard from the public, we've had discussion between the board members on various conditions that have been in question or needed some discussion. Would it be appropriate for the board to consider a motion at this time?
It would be.
I move that we deny the reconsideration and move straight to resolution.
Well, let's reframe that motion, because I think I see where you're going. So the motion would be to, let me think about that for a minute. Mike, I need some guidance on that one. Jeff's got me thinking.
There's already been a vote of the board that the applicant is requesting reconsideration for. If the board doesn't reconsider, then the prior resolution or prior action of the board holds, and it is a denial.
So would Jeff's motion be restated as a motion to approve the reconsideration subject to revised conditions in our proposed resolution? Does that get to the same place Jeff wants to get to?
I don't know if that's the place Jeff wants to get to.
Tell us where your motion wants to be so that we can react.
Basically, deny the request for reconsideration and move forward the resolution we currently have in place.
So what do you mean by the resolution we currently have in place?
Basically, the next line item, the resolution that we drafted. Both things are on the docket.
Okay, so I think what Mitch is saying is the resolution that you're suggesting that we move to, because there was a resolution prepared for your last meeting.
Correct.
Which was a resolution to deny the application. The resolution supplement is a resolution to grant preliminary approval with conditions. But in order to get to that resolution, the board has to decide that yes, they're going to reconsider the prior vote.
So if you're...
I don't know if I've articulated it clearly enough.
So the motion on the resolution on the table
is to reconsider the hearing.
You're right, is to grant.
Fine,
and
so we'll
grant-
reconsider the hearing and put forth the new resolution.
Yes, now I think we are saying the same thing. We're just battling through a lot of legalese. So, Mike, here's what we're gonna do. Would you, taking what Jeff said, which I think he's going in the right spot, could you suggest a motion for the board to effectuate where you think the board is leaning here?
The motion is to consider, or I should say, to reconsider the application.
The prior denial.
Just to reconsider the application. Once you've reconsidered the application, then you can move on to whether or not you want a motion for preliminary with these conditions.
Right.
But wait, now, so we're gonna do a motion
To
to,
reconsider the previous,
period.
The previous action, yeah.
So,
Okay.
motion to and there's no conditions to that, it's just a motion to
This
reconsider.
is to open up the reconsideration, then you're going to go to a resolution. What resolution do you want?
Okay.
which
If
has
you-
already
if-
been
If
drafted.
that's what you were doing,
Yes.
you're way ahead of us. Maybe you should be the chairman.
Not today.
I got another 20 years in me, then you're up. All right, so the motion on the table, Jeff, is to proceed with reconsideration of the application.
Correct.
Okay, I'll second that motion, now that I'm with you. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Danielle, would you call the roll?
Mr. Lambros?
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Excuse me,
Cosby? Yes?
not eligible, I apologize. Mr. Pito?
Yes.
Mr. Ziner?
Yes.
And Chairman Newman.
Yes. Okay, Mike, would you guide us on what might be the next resolution? I think, the next motion.
The next motion would be to adopt the resolution that has been submitted to the board entitled Resolution Granting Preliminary Major Site Plan Approval with all of the conditions 1 through 24 that are in the resolution that you received prior to this meeting.
I move that.
Does that include the special conditions too, Mike?
Yep.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Yeah, I make that motion.
Okay. Mike, do we need any further clarification on that
Can I say
motion?
something before we do that?
Yeah, just give
Are
me,
we taking all the 24, or are we taking some and leaving some out of
No,
them?
all 24.
All-
Okay, that's fine.
Everything that's in the resolution.
Yes.
All 24.
And
So
preliminary.
it's all or nothing?
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
Correct.
all or
The board has got a motion in front of it to proceed with the resolution as drafted, which is for preliminary site plan approval only, with all of the conditions that are currently in the resolution without revision.
Got it.
Okay. Anything further we need to move that motion, Mike?
The second.
Okay, so I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, Danielle, please call the roll.
Mr. Lambros?
Yes.
Committeewoman Zabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Pito?
Yes.
Mr. Ziner?
Yes.
And Chairman Newman.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And thank you, Jeff.
You're kindly welcome.
You could skip the next meeting.
Boy, this is so much fun.
Maybe.
I don't have 20 years, but I have at least over 10.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. You've definitely been here a long time.
It's been, I think, since 2010.
2010? Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay. You've seen us before you got here. No mess. All right, so the next thing on our agenda is, oh, this is just a resolution?
No, this is just, is there any correspondence or board discussion? Oh, you have a new one?
No, we got,
Oh, that was added, I didn't get that one.
Okay, so we have
Yes,
another,
At the last meeting, you granted an extension of the subdivision, minor subdivision approval for Joe Place Farms. And this is just a resolution memorializing the grant of the extension for 60 days past the adoption of this resolution.
all right, so I'll make a motion to memorialize that resolution. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any comments or suggested revisions?
No.
Seeing none, Danielle, please call the roll.
Keep going. Check this out. Rindell Road is like
Committeewoman
this.
Zabrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
One lot is
Mr.
over here.
Vito?
This is
Yes.
the subject
Ms. Sinha?
property. This is all.
Dina,
I'm sorry.
just say yes.
Place Farms, Ms. Sinha?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Ziner?
Yes.
And Ms. Riley? Yes. Chairman Newman?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Any further correspondence or board discussion?
Just what was in your packet. If you have any questions.
Okay, and one of the things in the packet was Danielle had sent along some proposed rules and regulations. Mike's had a chance to take a look at it. I haven't. I don't think the board has really. So between now and the next meeting, if we all could just take a couple minutes to read it through, I will certainly do that for us and be prepared to discuss it with the board. So with that, with there being no other business, appropriate for a motion to adjourn? Anything else? All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
You know what, before we adjourn, I
Yeah.
want to ask one thing about, when is the master plan up for a moderate review?
2027, but you can do it anytime.
5 years.
10 years. It was adopted in
It's 10 years, but you do I know it's a 10-year,
You could
but
do
you
it
do a
the next-
5-year revisit?
do it at
We have
any
done it
time.
within a year of one being adopted, so.
What about,
The current one is 5 years old.
Correct.
what about a light review?
So same thing, a reexamination report would be every 10 years, or the full master plan. But again, you can do that at any time between that 10-year period.
Mr. Lambros, I know you are the mayor's designee, but when the mayor was here at the last meeting, he did ask us to look into doing an update of some sort. And one of the items in rules and regulations is setting forth a master planning committee and creating appointments, so that will be addressed at the next meeting to set a committee up to start reviewing.
And I will note, since the last 2017 master plan, there's been a new addition to the municipal land use law where any new land use element that's adopted, and the land use element, for those who weren't here last time, is what lays the groundwork for all of the land use and zoning policy in the township. We do have to do a climate analysis assessment as part of that, which involves a build-out analysis of the township and review all of the natural hazard potential impacts on the town. So it's a little extra step that we didn't have to do last time that will be required this time.
I'm also working on the checklists and finalizing some checklist items. Would it be appropriate to include a community impact report in a checklist item for major applications then? Would that be along the lines?
Let's talk. I don't know. Depends what the parameters of a community impact report would be. Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we could probably find a sample ordinance from another town. I deal with them all the time.
Yeah, there's a bunch out there.
So how does a reexamination begin? Does it begin at the planning board, or does it begin at a township level?
All master plan documents are owned by the planning board. However, the budget does come from the governing body, so they would have to approve. It would have to basically start from a budgetary standpoint from the governing body, but it's completely in control of the planning board.
Okay.
And that budget would probably mostly come from a proposal from your office and maybe some work by Matt?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt would be very much involved as well. He has
Alright.
great knowledge.
So where would the direction come from, the beginning direction, from the township committee or from the planning board? Let's say,
yeah, there's no-
would it be a communication between the township and planning board
It
to say
would, if-
whether we want to do that? and
Yeah,
then-
if this board feels that there are either
I think Al was
broad,
looking at it.
yeah, if there are broad issues that need to be reviewed, or if you just generally think it's time because things have changed a lot in the last 5 years. I mean, we did have a whole pandemic since the last time. It would be broad communication back and forth, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Anything further? Seeing none, we have a motion to adjourn. We have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.